flash like mismatched keys, and they'll go days, sometimes weeks, without a proper call. What are we doing, Loretta? Bice asked one evening during a call that had dropped 3 times in a row. I don't know, she replied honestly. But it feels like if we stop, I'll lose something I haven't even gotten back fully yet. He was quiet. Then I feel the same. So they didn't stop. They fought for it quietly, like grown ups who tasted disappointment too often to give up on something genuine. Very few weekends, Bice would take the 5 hour drive to Accra. They would walk the city streets, cook together, argue about politics, sit in silence without needing to feel it. Loretta still wore the pebble around her neck, now tied to it a gold chain. Bice would trap it sometimes when they had a silent signal. Still here. 3 weeks passed. Bice didn't move. He showed up at her office on a rainy Friday, drenched, tired, carrying a brown box. She opened it to find everything they had shared since they found each other again: photos, notes, receipts from places they had visited, an old book they had loved, and a printed email thread from their long first WhatsApp conversation. Why are you showing me this? Loretta asked, her voice quiet. Because I forgot to tell you something. What? I love you. She looked up at him, his trembling hands, his soaked shirts, the desperation in his eyes, and her walls crumbled. I love you too, she said. Love isn't just built on history, it needs presence, and presence was what they lacked. Loretta's friends didn't get it. How can you be in a long distance situation with someone you haven't seen in over a decade until recently? Her best friend Eunice asked. I know him, said Loretta, even when I don't see him. Meanwhile, Bai's business was expanding and he was considering international partnerships. The idea of relocating to South Africa had come up and he hadn't told Loretta. One day, she found out from a mutual acquaintance, not from him. That night, her message was short. So you're moving now. Thought we told each other everything. Guess this pebble was just a rock again. It shattered him. He called. She didn't answer. For the first time they had reconnected, silence settled between them, heavy and unfair. From then on, they changed. Bai stepped back from the relocation offer. He opened a second branch in Accra, made moves slowly, and found a small flat near Loretta's apartment. They didn't rush. Years of separation had taught them the value of patience. They attended therapy together, shared insecurities, opened up about past relationships, and even about the loneliness that haunted them during the time apart. Loretta once said, I think we didn't just promise that no one would love us. We cursed ourselves too. Bice nodded. Let's uncurse it together. On their 30th birthday, their families reunited for the first time in nearly 20 years. The Wusus and the Menses, once neighbors, laughed over bowls of jollof rice and tilapia, marveling at how life had brought their children full circle. That evening, under the same neem tree where they had once sat as children, Bice pulled Loretta into a hug. He placed a small box in her hand. Inside, another pebble. Marry me, he whispered. She laughed, tears already falling. You didn't even share your meat pie, remember? He pulled one from his back pocket, perfectly wrapped. I've been saving it. They bought two plots in their old neighborhood across the street from each other, just like before. But this time, they built a single house between the two plots, joining what was once divided. On the front wall, carved in gold lettering above the entrance, were the words, "Still here." And beside the entry gate, embedded in stone, was a smooth grey pebble. Marriage wasn't the end, it was another beginning. Loretta and Bai's wedding was simple, held in a garden just outside Accra. There were no celebrity guests, no fireworks, just laughter, music, and two people who'd walk through deserts of loneliness to find each other again. Bice wore a white linen suit with kente details, and Loretta wore an off-white shoulder dress made of lace, her hair pulled back to reveal the chain around her neck, a grey pebble still there, polished by time, but unchanged. During the vows, Loretta said, "I used to think I couldn't be loved. Not truly. Maybe in some ways I made that true. But when you came back, you didn't just remind me of who I was, you helped me become who I am now." Bice replied, "You were always the girl who walked across the street with slippers on and made me promise no one would love me. And when we broke that promise, we found our way. You are not my beginning or my end. You are my everyday in between." They honeymooned in Adafa, where the rivers kisses the sea. Every morning they wake up to the sound of waves, and every night they'll fall asleep telling old stories, stories they never had time to share before. Back home, they volunteered on weekends, monitoring children in their old neighborhood. The neem tree where they once sat was still standing. They planted another beside it, naming it Hope. When asked why they were so invested in their community, Bice would say, "Because this street gave me my best friend." Loretta would add, "And then it gave me back my heart." Do you think if we hadn't said that silly promise, we'd still be here? Bice smiled. Maybe not. But maybe it was never a kiss. Maybe it was just our way of saying, "You're mine, I'll find you again."